Hey, there. How we doing, folks? Welcome to the 2025 NAL Reveal Showdown. Whatever. We're going to be joined by multiple guests. And to the 113 people who are watching live, welcome to Inside the Walls podcast, powered by Inside the Walls Network. And what a show we have for today. All teams in the National Arena League schedules will be revealed by each date. We'll get to see the matchups. We'll get to see future rivalries. We'll get to see rematches. And also get an opportunity to get maybe a three-peat. But that schedule I saw looks pretty daunting. But before then, ladies and gentlemen, before I go on my horse, we got to get the true king of the NAL, Todd Walkenhorst, on the show. Commissioner? That was a bad segue, I know.
There's no royalty here, I can tell you that. What's going on? Anything new?
No, not really.
Good evening. Glad to be here. Glad to get this started. Glad to release the schedule. And glad Matt got off work. I heard that was going to be an issue, so I'm glad they let him out on time.
I'm here and I'm ready to go.
Don't get him too jealous, and he'll go away for 10 minutes, and I'll lose a co-host for now. But everyone's want to ask, where's Jeff? Jeff is on his way. He just got out of work literally like 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I saw him commenting on the chat. He'll be here pretty soon. Well, Commish,
we started you a little earlier. I appreciate you guys doing that. I know that you guys do have jobs and stuff, but we wanted to get this out, and we didn't want too late, especially on the East Coast. So I appreciate you guys accommodating us.
Well, first off, Commish, I want to say, is this the first time it's ever been done, a show that actually releases the schedule in indoor and arena football?
I won't say the entire league, but I'm glad that the more important thing is not if you do a show, is if anybody's watching it. And the fact that we've had people that have been waiting for this schedule, and people that are here watching right now, and people have been talking about it all week, that's the great thing that what all this is, especially what you guys are doing and whatnot. This is all about content, entertainment, and connecting with the fans. And the fact that, we don't have a game until next spring, but we're here tonight in October, in the middle of NFL season, talking indoor football and talking about the National Arena League. I think that's a great thing for our league, for our fans, and for this entire business.
I don't know how to say this, but it's an honor, it's a privilege of Inside the Walls being associated with the National Arena League. We've done a lot of things behind the scenes. What we have presentation today, there's a few things I like to say before we get into the topics of the day. To the fans in all these cities, go to your local arenas, go to their websites, buy tickets now as much as possible. Get as many people into these arenas, because without you, they don't exist. So do it.
Well, and I don't want to stroke you guys too much, but you guys did volunteer to do this for us. And as everybody will see tonight, this isn't just turning on a web stream and having some half-ass, little podcast here tonight. There's graphics, there's schedule release. There's a lot of work that went into this. Coaches are going to be on here to talk. Coaches are in the chat room. I've talked with a lot of our guys, and one of the cool things is if you haven't met some of these coaches yet, they are great people. They enjoy the sport, they enjoy the fans, and they'll be in there interacting with all of you. They don't care if it's October or if it's March. And that's what's fun about this. So I'm glad that we're able to do that and reach more people and whatnot. So I know there's one big question everybody wants before we get going. So I suppose I'll touch on that before we get to the fun stuff.
Well, Coach, I know there's a lot. We got to talk about pressing issues. I know you want to bring it up before we get to the excitement part of the schedules. But today the National Arena League released some news, but I want you to have the option to, well, not the option. This is the league you control. I want you to put the opinions. So Jim, step aside. Commish.
No, I just you'll see we are going to have an 11-team schedule. Corpus Christi was not included on the schedule, and that's pretty much where I would have left it tonight, except for apparently we got name checked in a press release a couple hours ago by Corpus Christi. And there's a couple things I'm just going to go ahead and lay out there and explain what happened and why we got to that. So let me just start off first. I know everybody, one of the best hobbies on the internet is, hoping for failure of indoor football teams and whatnot. People can't wait for that. Let me just be clear. If you think the NAL would, one, want to lose a team, or two, go with an odd number of teams on a schedule, or three, lose one at this point. I mean, those are all things that are not good for us. I mean, we agree, with everybody on that. What we don't want to do is, I took this position a year ago, and it was very public what our failures were: to not get the teams, not have deadlines, not have requirements. We really scheduled and lost 2 teams before we ever kicked off, teams that were on the league before I ever came into this. We lost a team during the season. That's a much more massive failure. So if anybody's been watching any of these, talks that we've had, I've mentioned, even when we brought the teams in, that, we brought the teams on. We have due diligence at that point. We also have due diligence during the season, during the off season. And there's items that teams have to, adhere to. And the one that they, I'll just say, again, I don't want to talk too much about it, but they specifically reference emotion. I believe they are inaccurate in their interpretation of that. I have the board meeting on recording. I mean, we've got audio of it. And I'll just kind of leave it that they did not meet the requirement on that. Now, I'll also mention that the requirement deadline was September 1st. So we just kind of got to this point in the last week. So it was not knee jerk. We extended as long as we could. Now, let me kind of tell you why we have to eventually go forward. One, you have to have rules, and protect yourself, protect other teams. But two, the reality of it is, I'll give a little lesson on the business part is, everybody's got arena dates. That's the worst part of the schedule, is trying to put together these dates. We had a schedule put together a month ago, I'll be honest with you, with 12 teams on it. We had to do that. We want to do that because those dates get filled up. Now, the arenas in these towns will not actually lock that date in until we have a real schedule out there. They'll hold them, but they will not lock them. So in the last 3 or 4 weeks, while we've been waiting for these requirements to be made, I've got teams that are losing dates. I've got teams that have complied with all of our regulations, and then they lose dates. So what does that mean? Best case scenario, we alter the schedule and make it work. Worst case scenario, as you can imagine, it doesn't work, or a team loses a Saturday and then all of a sudden it's playing on Monday. Well, guess what? That affects their business. That affects their bottom line. So we have guidelines. We have reasons that we do what we do. We got blasted, which I believe we deserved when we lose teams during the season. Our goal is not to do that. Be more professional. That was my goal coming in here. And, again, we have criteria during the off season, and we tried to do what we could, but we had to move in this direction.
Well, I've been associated with NAL for a couple of years now, and I've seen how the operation is from behind scenes, from different variations of it. This, me and you and coaches behind the scenes, like we've been like, let's go, let's get this going, let's get the schedule out, and we just couldn't.
Well, and let me say that, it's also not the way we're set up. Nobody owns this league. The owners own the league. So, I'm here and I kind of administer all the rules and the direction and everything. That's not my decision to go in and get rid of a team. That's the board of directors. That's our owners. And I'll just say that movement that resulted in the 11-game schedule was a unanimous vote. So, this is the direction our teams want to be. They want to be more professional. They want to make sure that we don't have teams fail during the season. They want to meet requirements. And, again, that's the difference between professional and semi-pro, and that's the direction that I hope we go. So I know it's fun just, again, go and, oh my gosh, sky's falling and everything. But as far as I'm concerned, this was a natural part of a process that is positive for the development of our league in the long term.
Well, Commish, got anything else?
No. Now we can talk about the schedule if you like.
Because we got 11 teams, 13 weeks, 10 games. Each team in the National Arena League has 3 bye weeks. Every team. Those are meant for possibly, secondary games from other leagues, like independent games, like the Omaha Beef, I think, played the Minnesota Tritons last year in a game early in the season that will play in those bye weeks, and other teams may not do it. So we got 3 bye weeks, 13-week season. And the postseason hasn't been determined yet. So later in a couple of weeks, we'll announce what the postseason bracket is. We've talked about before, but it's not official yet. But, Commish?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. 10 regular season games. We kick off a beginning of March. There is an ongoing discussion even today regarding playoffs. We have our normal weekly board call tomorrow. That will be a hot topic, one that I'd like to iron up sooner rather than later. The consensus, I believe, I don't think I'm talking out of line here, will be 3 rounds of playoffs. The only determination with the 11-team schedule, do we still go with the 8 or do we go with 6? There's pros and cons to both. I have a feeling I know which direction we'll go with that. There's logistics too. You got travel, you got to worry about all that. So, there might be some divisions or conference or whatever. So those are some of the details that I like to bring to the team. So, the coaching type owners, they want everybody in the playoffs, right? Like, everybody goes to the playoffs, right? The owners are like, let's just play one round, and sometimes or less, or, they're financially conscious, which is all important. So we'll bring that all together. We'll discuss it. And what I do know is there'll be more than one round of playoffs like we had last year, although that was a great playoff game.
So the tentative date for the championship game is June 20th, 21st area?
Yeah, it'll be 3 weeks after the regular season. We will be wrapped up by the 4th of July.
Hey, that beats some good airfare because 4th of July weekend's tough for travel. I'm just saying.
I still like having my summer personally, so I won't say this is a selfish thing, but we've kind of talked about before. We've all got some different philosophies on it, but I just really believe that there's a sweet spot for our business when we play, and the NFL's huge, college football's huge, and you get to July, 2-a-days start, the training camps start, and people start following that again. They start getting their football fix again. So I like being wrapped up at that point. That's where we fit real nicely. We've had very good success with that, and that's what we're going to kind of do. At least this year. And, maybe we'll expand at some point the schedule. I always, kind of push towards the 12 games, but, there's, again, pros and cons to that. But we do not really intend to go later than 4th of July, no matter what we do.
Good. I'm excited. Matt, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Jeff, welcome.
I'm here. Made it.
In the words of your coach, you should have took today off.
It's a national holiday. I know I should have.
Yes, and we did a tradition on this show like we do on Through the Wire. We started a little later. Well, it's because me and the commission, Matt, were having good conversation in the background. Commish, I want to say thank you for joining today. I do know one thing. Again, appreciate the love and respect from all the fans. And for of course, you, Todd. People knocking on my door already. I'm very popular over here.
No, appreciate everybody that's coming out here. And, you guys are going to talk about it. But, again, we got some good teams, 2 of the longest running indoor teams in the country. We got 11 very solid teams. We're going to have some good matchups. And I'm going to get out of your way and let you get to the schedule. And I know you got coaches on deck and, all sorts of stuff. So nobody wants to see me. So we'll move on.
Well, Commish. Appreciate it. We'll see you around. And ladies and gentlemen, who should we start with is the question. Matt, who should we start with?
I have an idea. Maybe we
Jeff?
should start with the champions.
Why do we have to start with the champions for?
It's only right.
Unfortunately.
It's their place at the table.
It's their place at the table. Here is the 2025 Omaha Beef schedule. Week 1, Omaha Beef. Gotta wait for the beat to drop. Here we go. We'll be on the road. The Omaha Renegade. The Omaha Beef. Arena against the Idaho Stampede. Week 3, your Omaha Beef. We're We're chilling. We're just gonna chill. We'll have a bye week. Just chilling. Could be. What's up? Right? Week 4, the Omaha Beef will be home against the Colorado Spartans, rematch with Coach Shaw and the Spartans. Week 5, we'll chill too. We'll chill. Week 6, home against those Horsemen, a rematch from a Week 2 battle. And Week 7, home against Sioux City in the I-29 rivalry. One of 2 matches, I guarantee it. Maybe more. And then they go back to Denver Coliseum to take on the Spartans of Colorado. Week 9, the Omaha Beef are home against the Amarillo Dustas. Week 10, traveling to Sioux City to take on the Bandits for game number 2 of that series. Week 11, just chilling. Another bye.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. Week 12, back home against the Harrisburg Stampede. And Week 13, hitting the road, closing out the season at Amarillo. Matt, your thoughts?
I mean, it's a solid schedule. I'm looking forward to the 2 matchups with Sioux City. Obviously, looking forward to the 2 matchups with Colorado because that's actually a very drivable distance for me to go out to Denver, and I got family in that area. And then, the one thing I will say, just being honest, from a fan perspective, a little bum that we don't see, Wheeling on the schedule. A little bum that we don't see Columbus on the schedule, but I know there's a reason that the schedules are made the way they were. So, I'm just excited to see Harrisburg and, Beaumont and Amarillo on the schedule. 3 brand new teams that we've never played before. And, it's going to be awesome. I'm excited for it.
Jeff, what are your thoughts about this Omaha Beef schedule?
I think it's a good schedule. That's going to be a good week 1 matchup against Beaumont. Beaumont has a lot of talent in that room that we've seen them add, and then obviously the 2 matchups with Sioux City, and then the Dusters in there as well. So it's a good schedule. I mean, it's a lot of doubles, so teams will see each other a bunch of times. So that'll be nice. I think it's a good schedule for the Beef. I think it's a good respective championship schedule.
Okay. I look at it this way: they get the party, that I-29 rivalry. That's where it goes. That's it. That's the longest reigning and defending rivalry of.
I do like how it's kind of like in the middle of the season and then towards the end. Like, obviously, because teams, you're going to see them the first week of the season and then they're going to progress. So that week 7 matchup and week 10 matchup are going to be 2 totally different games when they come around.
True. Anybody in the chat? There's 160 of you in the chat. What game are you looking forward to, Omaha, so far? You got 10 more teams to get into, but where are the matchups? Are you circling? I could tell you, Sioux City, everyone wants Sioux City. I like that Spartan matchup. Coach Shaw, that comeback last year, I really got Coach Shaw. Spartans were pretty good last year, almost got Omaha. Beef, Cobras, regular season, question mark? Well, not this time. Possibly postseason. Omaha and Sioux City. I'm getting a lot of Omaha, Sioux City. That's what I'm talking about. That is the premier matchup in our sport, especially in our league. Now let's go to another team, and let's mix it up a little bit. Matt, you got the reins.
All right. All right, so for the Amarillo Dusters, they will be playing Rougarou. That music's really loud. Week 2, they're just gonna be chilling.
Don't steal my words.
Week 3, we've got the first matchup with the Beaumont Renegades. That will be the home opener for the Dusters. Week 4, another bye. Week
Double
5,
bye surprise.
2 byes in a row there. Sorry about that. Week 6 is at Colorado. Coach Try versus Coach Shaw, round 1. Should be a fun game. Then week 7, they are hosting the Shreveport Rougarou. Week 8, they'll be at the Idaho Horsemen, so making that road trip out to Idaho. Week 9, they will be at the Omaha Beef. It's an old school rivalry with a renewed flair and renewed clash. 2 teams that have played before. Week 10, they will be hosting the Idaho Horsemen. Week 11, they will be home again against the Colorado Spartans. Week 12, they will be traveling to Beaumont to take on the Renegades. And then the final game of the regular season, they will be hosting the Omaha Beef to end their regular season on week 13. Jim, thoughts on that schedule?
Did you just say their season? Are you already predicting that their season will end at week 13?
No, I said
they might make
regular
the
season
playoffs.
finale. I said regular season finale.
I don't know how you said it though, bro. I don't know. You look at the schedule, the first thing that pops in mind is, for me as a person from the business aspect of thing, that double bye. A lot of sitting around. What happens if you got a groove and you get a bye, and you get a groove and bye-bye? It's going to be hurt. But again, Amarillo's a new team coming in. You don't really know what they can bring to the table. I want to see how they do against a team that we know, the Spartans, in week 6. We'll see how they get their journey started. It's what I look at. Again, Rougarou, new team. Beaumont, new team. We don't know a lot about those teams, but we'll know a lot as we get closer to the season. What about you, Jeff?
I like that week 1 matchup. I like the 2 new teams, kind of feeling each other out, see who they are. Kind of gives the old Hall of Fame game where they would do, the expansion teams. That kind of gives me that kind of feel where those 2 teams play to start out the season. So that's a good week 1 game. But I'm with you, Jim. The bye weeks, they're too close together. You're going to want those later on, but it's just kind of the way it felt.
True. So, excuse me, a lot of comments. And the answer to that question is no, Adam. That's a question in the chat. The answer is no. Again, for Amarillo Duster fans, please visit the Amarillo's website. Tickets are available now. Go out there and get your tickets. Support these teams. Support these organizations. Without you, they do not exist. But yes, week 1, there's a lot of question marks in that schedule. I like to see familiarity. If they get off to a good start, that back half of the schedule is very manageable. They kind of avoid Sioux City and Wheeling and Columbus, who I think are going to be very, very good this year. Maybe they can feast on early schedules, but again, Coach Shaw knows how to put a team together, so don't count out the Colorado Spartans in that part of the schedule. So, speaking of the Beaumont Renegades, week 1, the Beaumont Renegades play host to the Omaha Beef. Week 2 for the Beaumont Renegades, they just chilling. Just chilling. Week 3, they travel to the Amarillo Dusters. Battle of 2 expansion teams, or pre-merges. Week 4, just chilling. Again, just chilling. They're in Texas. There's things to do. Week 6, they travel to Greensboro to take on the Carolina Cobras. There we go, seeing the original team from the NAL on the schedule. Week 6, they home against the Sioux City Bandits. It'll be a tough one right there. Week 7, the Beaumont Renegades travel to the Columbus Lion, a traditional NAL power. Week 8, I'm not going to say it. We know. Week 9, they are home against the Shreveport Rougarou. And week 10, the Beaumont Renegades travel to the Willie Miners. Week 11, Beaumont plays host to the Columbus Lions. Week 12, it's getting kind of tough. Who can be? They're home against Amarillo Delsters. And week 13, to wrap up the 2025 season, the Beaumont Renegades are home. We're on the road to the Shreveport Rougarou. I need to get the color of things. I make this graphic and I know the color. I look at the color and still say the opposite thing. I do the opposite. Jeff, what is your thoughts on this schedule for the Rougarou? The Renegades. Rougarou.
Like we mentioned in the Omaha skit, I think that first game is going to be a real test to see, who Beaumont really is. Those games with the Amarillo Dusters, I really hope that becomes a good rivalry between those two. Hopefully that's, it's a big in-state rivalry. So I hope that's, becomes a good thing. And then the two with the Rougarous as well. That week 10 matchup is going to be very interesting to say the least. Excuse me. Making the trip to Wheeling. So we'll definitely talk about that one again, but that one's definitely interesting, especially, to me as well. But yeah, I really hope those two games with Amarillo, I really hope that builds a nice rivalry with those two.
Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I really hope that Amarillo and Beaumont can build a rivalry. I'm excited to see Beaumont, early in the season against Omaha, see what they can offer against us. And then, man, they got some pretty long road trips, going to Carolina, going to Columbus, and going to Wheeling. Interesting to see how those games affect their team with that long travel. But all in all, looking forward to watching this new team play.
Well, Jeff, I did misspoke. I did say the Rougarou are next. I lied. My apologies to the fans out there. I apologize. Jim does go off the whim sometimes. I do apologize. If you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm letting Jeff do the honors. Remember, Through the Wire, Coach Show, Wednesday night, tonight, this week, breaking down the schedule. Myself, Jeff, and Coach Rez, Wednesday night. Jeff?
All right. Take a look at Wheeling's 2025 schedule. Everybody was wondering who week 1 is going to be. Very interesting matchup. It's none other than the border war for week 1.
You gotta wait for the beat.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
There we go.
Week 1 will be opening up at home against Harrisburg. So that border war will start very quickly there in week 1. Week 2, bye. That's sitting at home chilling, like Jim likes to say.
Just chilling.
Week 3 on the road against the Shreveport Rougarou. An interesting matchup going out there. Week 4 we get a bye, so we make a long road trip and then get the bye after that. So good rest after that as well. And then Harrisburg, make the trip to Harrisburg. So and 2 back-to-back playing weeks on the road, but to get the bye week in between, so that's nice. Another bye week. So all the bye weeks will be done very early here for the Wheeling Miners. And then the much anticipated matchup, week 7, Carolina makes the trip to Wheeling. That is one of the games that everybody has been talking about. Week 8, make the trip out to Sioux City. That's a big one. That's a huge one. Sioux City has played Wheeling teams before. That's definitely a cool matchup. Week 9, making the trip down to Carolina. Coach Rez's first trip back down to Carolina as a coach. Week 10, Beaumont makes the trip into West Banco Arena. Once again, one of those interesting matchups with a new team as well. And then Sioux City makes the trip in. Back-to-back home games for the Miners. And then let's throw another one in there. Another home game for the Miners with the Idaho Horsemen. And then in week 12, going down to Columbus, making the trip down to Columbus, Georgia to face off against the Lions to complete the regular season. So, gentlemen, what's your thoughts on the first NAL schedule for the Wheeling Miners?
Matt, you're muted.
I'm sorry, guys. My son walked in the room. I apologize. Thank you for the patience there. Anyways, looking forward to that first matchup there, week 1, honestly, with Harrisburg. And then also the 2 matchups with the Cobras. I know in the offseason we were trying to work on what was it, the Golden Shears rivalry or whatever they were trying to call it. Didn't really necessarily come into fruition, but looking to see that dynamic there of Coach Negron and Coach Rez there as they match up in that week 7 matchup, and then again in is that week 9, I believe that is. But then also against Sioux City, that's going to be a fun game also. Looking forward to seeing that for sure.
I'm looking for week 1.
Mm.
At Berg and Miners in West Banco Arena.
Border War.
Here's a hint. Jim is going to be there. I'm ready for that one. Let's go.
Yeah.
I love that matchup. Rob.
Most important thing, though, Jim, Monday Night Football to start week 1. That game is March 10th.
Well, if fans know what we've been talking about, if Jim travels somewhere, there might be something that's happening during that weekend. So, yes. But hey, Matt, you're glitching out. Don't glitch out on me, man. Well, Jeff, I know you talk about me and you work with the Wheeling Miners, the coaches show. We know the build up to it. We talk to Rez a lot. We know how he thinks behind the scenes, but a lot of fans may not know what he really wants in this schedule. What games do you think he's circling besides the, it's the first game. We're just worried about the first team. But what do you think is the game he's really circling?
So obviously the 2 are obvious is the Harrisburg and the Carolina. Obviously Carolina, big circle. But I really think the 2 matchups with Sioux City is the big one that he's circling outside of those, because those are big matchups that could set us up later on for, depending on how it shakes down, playoff positioning and home field advantage and things of that nature. So that's a huge game. I mean, if you can steal, one of those or both of those, I mean, that's a good game to have, for both of those. So both of those matchups, having a home and away series with Sioux City is definitely something that it hits the schedule. And like I mentioned with the other schedules, it's kind of in the middle. So, it's week 8. So everybody will be really rolling into what kind of team they are. Everybody knows, what they can do and how they can finish. And it'll be coming off an emotional game of week 7. So it's going to be a good tale to go out to Sioux City in week 8 and then have them come in week 11. So, yeah, I think those 2 matchups for sure.
And I see a question that's popping up a few times on the chat. I can answer that. All the games are played on Saturday in the NAL this year. Only 2 games are not on Saturday. That is Monday Night Football to kick off the season in Wheeling, and our next opponent's home opener of the 2025 season. The Sioux City Bandits. Well, the first week, I'm not going to say it.
Just say it.
We're just chilling. Week 2 will be on Friday night when the Sioux City Bandits host Coach Shaw and the Spartans. This is going to be intriguing. We'll tell you why later. Week 3. Yeah, you know, we're just chilling. I'm going to make a t-shirt. Just chilling. Week 4. Home against the Idaho Horsemen. Intriguing matches between these two teams last year. I think it's continue it this year will be interesting in Tyson Event Center. Week 5. Be good. We're cool. We're done for the evening. Goodbye. Here's the rest of the schedule. Week 6, they will be traveling to the Beaumont Renegades. Week 7, Sioux City again. Home against the Omaha Beef I-29 rivalry. One of the biggest games in our sport. Week 8, the Sioux City Bandits travel. They're home against Willing. I'm going to say travel. Me and the coloration problem. Here we go. At the Idaho Horsemen, week 9. And in week 10, they're at home against Omaha. So the first time was away, this time it's home. Corrected myself. My apologies. Week 11, they travel to Willing. That's going to be an intriguing matchup, especially with the guests we have later tonight. We're going to be talking about that game. Week 12, the Sioux City Bandits are home against Colorado. Number 2 matchup. And to cap it off, round 3 of the Spartans and Bandits. And in Denver Coliseum. Jeff, minus my mess up of how I can't, realize color coordination on my own graphics I created. What do you think the schedule is like?
What stands out to me the most is that bye week 1, and then playing a game, and then a bye again in week 3, and then week 4 playing, and then having a bye in week 5. So it's definitely going to be an on-off kind of thing there for Sioux City. But it's going to be them able to watch a lot of film. The 8 straight is rough after that, but they'll definitely, know the teams that they're playing after that, because there will be a bunch of film for them to look at and different looks and things. So yeah, they'll definitely have some teams figured out by week 6 when it comes around. But yeah, those buys in there like that are rough.
And also, Mitch, you are good to go. I know you've been waiting for me to give you the all clear. Matt, what do you think about this schedule?
Yeah, again, looking forward to the I-29 rivalry. The first one being, in Omaha on week 7. I believe that's April 19th. And then, again, week 10. What I'm really happy about, though, is that those 2 games aren't back-to-back, because we've seen that before. And while that's fun, it's a little bit more fun to kind of have those games spread out a little bit and see some different opponents in between those 2 games. But really looking forward to that home and home with the Miners. And again, the matchups with Colorado, that 3 times against Colorado. That's kind of interesting. See how that goes, how that plays out, and where that sets those teams up as far as the playoffs go.
A little series action, a little best of 3 action. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
Matt, and your honors, because we got to get this going, because we have timelines to hit for our teams to post their graphics on their Facebook pages. So the next team, that's if the computer decides to work with me. Sometimes it doesn't. Dead air. Don't like dead air. Here we go. Maybe. Here we go.
All right, our next schedule release is the Idaho Horsemen. Week 1, let's see what we got going on for Idaho. It's a bye. Week 2, the Horsemen will be traveling to Omaha to take on the Beef at the Slaughterhouse. Week 3, another bye. Week 4, they will be traveling to Sioux City to take on the Bandits. Week 5 is their matchup against the Shreveport Rougarou. Week 6, the second matchup against the Omaha Beef, this time out there in Idaho. Week 7, they will be traveling to Colorado to take on the Spartans. Week 8, the Horsemen will be hosting the Amarillo Dusters. And then back home again, week 9 against the Sioux City Bandits. Week 10, their second matchup, traveling to Amarillo to take on the Dusters. Week 11, they will be facing the Carolina Cobras, hosting them there in Idaho. Week 12, they'll be making that cross-country journey to take on the Wheeling Miners. And they will end their regular season with a bye.
Just chilling.
Gentlemen, just chilling. Gentlemen, let's start with Jeff. Jeff, your thoughts on that schedule for the Idaho Horsemen?
Bye, and then you get Omaha right off the bat. So I mean, that's kind of rough. And then you get another bye, and then guess what? Let's give you Sioux City right after that. So tough little couple weeks there for Idaho, but and then making the long distance trip there in week 12 to face the Miners. So that's definitely going to be a decent road trip for them, coming all the way to Wheeling. So that'll be interesting. And then sitting at home in the last week, trying to get some rest. So hopefully that's a rest before the playoffs kind of thing. So that'll definitely help them out if that happens the way they want it to happen.
Jim?
I look at this schedule. Two things pop in my mind. Sioux City and Omaha, and you got them twice.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, okay, that looks like a favorable, not so favorable schedule. Then you got Carolina, who is always a competitive organization. No matter last year or not, they are a competitive organization that plays to make the playoffs and playing championship games. I think they'll, again, will still be competitive with Coach Negron. But that game, the end of the season, on the road at Wheeling, that's going to be tough. People don't realize Wheeling has a fan base. They are loud. That's going to be a hostile environment. But for Idaho, team from last year, very competitive. They have, I saw him in the chat. I know he's on here tonight. They have Pat McAfee Light as a color commentator. For the brand, he's a punter, and all of his aneurysms are just like Pat McAfee. I expect him to be with the team again, doing some games, so it's going to be entertaining. No matter what, go watch Idaho games. They're fun to watch. Again, I look at Sioux City. I look at Omaha. You got to play them twice, and you throw in Wheeling and Carolina in there. Ugh. Ouch. That's a stretch. Now, it would be benefit if they have find a way to be a 2 seed or a 1 seed or whatever the playoff format is, and you get a bye, you get a week off before you play a game. So that could be a benefit. There are benefits to having bye weeks before playoffs sometimes. It's happened at other leagues before.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff? You said something?
No, I'm good.
Oh, maybe I'm glitching out.
No, you're good. I'm up next.
I hate when I have glitches. I really do. What? What are you looking at me like that for? I just said we just had a glitch. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
We got more documents. We got more schools, teams, schools. I think of this state. I think of the Thunders. Thousands of schools that are within a 10 radius miles. It's Carolina. How many schools are within 10 square miles of Greensboro?
A lot.
A lot. That's why the next schedule is for your Carolina Cobras. That's if Facebook. Come on, work. Work, dang it. There we go. And of course, the audio doesn't work. Good. Yay me with bad audio. Bad time to do it. There it goes. The 2025 Carolina Cobras season in Greensboro Arena. I know there's a new name. My bad. Don't know the name of it. Apologize. Week 1, the Carolina Cobras are traveling to a traditional NAL matchup against the Columbus Lions. Week 2, the Carolina Cobras are home against the Harrisburg Stampede. Week 3, Carolina Cobras. We already know. Week 4, the rematch with the Columbus Lions, a traditional NAL matchup from yesteryear. Week 5, it gets kind of interesting when Beaumont comes into town. What type of team are they by then? Are they going to be competitive? We'll find out. Week 6, a little warm up, a little chilling, just chilling before. It's going to be a good one. At the William Miners. That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be exciting to watch. Week 8, the Carolina Cobras are home against at the Harrisburg Stampede. Excuse me. Jumped ahead. You'll find out here the reason pretty soon. Home, week 9 against the William Miners, a rematch and the return of Coach Resignalo to Greensboro. Week 10, just chilling. Week 11, traveling all the way to Idaho. We saw that in the last schedule. Week 17, week 12, not 17. Home against the Shreveport River. I'm used to NFL, man. Give me a break. Week 13, home at the Harrisburg Stampede. I get the NFL schedule mixed up, man. 17, 18 weeks, too many damn games. And what are you laughing about?
I was just looking at the stuff, trying to figure out, like, where'd week 17 come from?
My imaginary world. Jeff, what do you think of this schedule? We mentioned it when we talked about the Willie Myers schedule, but what pops up in this schedule for the Carolina Cobras?
Obviously, the 2 matchups with Wheeling, but the 3 matchups with Harrisburg is really interesting to me. Any team that you try to play 3 times, it's really difficult to beat them all 3 times. So that's definitely going to be a difficult task for them. But I like where their bye weeks are, though. This is probably the first team that I really like that their bye weeks are kind of shifted and, mixed up a little bit. They get a bye, and then they play a little bit more and then have the buys. So the buys are definitely going to help them out as far as that is concerned. It's a really good schedule. I really like Carolina's schedule. It's definitely very well put together.
Matt?
Yeah, I agree with Jeff. They got the road game against the Lions, and then their home game against Harrisburg, and then they have a bye, and then 2 more home games there at the First Horizon Coliseum before that second bye. So I think it's kind of good, right? They're at home, they get a bye, so they don't really have to travel. They get to hang out at their place, and then they get to rest up before they make that road trip to Wheeling for the first match up there with the Miners. So yeah, looking forward to this schedule as well, and just seeing how those rivalries build out there in what appears to be an eastern side of the league there. So,
well, you can tell by how the schedule is constructed so far. A lot of Eastern teams are playing each other. A lot of the Central and Western teams are playing each other. They're doing that for travel reasons, most likely. Helps the budget when you don't have to travel outrageous miles. That's a good business mind to do. But, Jeff, you have the honors of introducing the Spartans.
Colorado having a new home this year. That's going to be interesting. It's a nice arena. I really, really like the fact that they went with that arena there in Denver. Going to be easier for travel for teams as well, flying into Denver instead of.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Definitely.
So week 1, bye. Just chilling, just hanging out at home, just chilling.
Hey, don't steal Jim's word.
Hey. Week 2 on the road against Sioux City. That's going to be an interesting matchup there. Facing the Bandits right off the bat. Week 3, another bye. So get some nice rest thereafter. facing the runner-ups in the league the previous season. And then you get Omaha, so that's fun. Week 4 on the road again against the Omaha Beef. So that's going to be a nice little road trip there for the Spartans. Bye week in week 5. So all buys are taken care of by week 5 for the Spartans. Week 6, bring in the Amarillo Dusters, their home opener there in week 6. Very interesting there, week 6 for their home opener. Week 7, bring in another home game, bring in the Idaho Horsemen. Be interesting. Those were great matchups last year with those two teams trying to find their way in the NAL last season. And then home again against the Omaha Beef in week 8. Week 9 matchup against the Columbus Lions. So Columbus making the trip out to Colorado to face the Spartans there in Denver.
4 straight home games.
Yeah, that's whew. And then week 10, playing away, making the trip to Harrisburg. So nice travel there for the Spartans. Week 11, again on the road against Amarillo, against the Dusters. And then week 12, again on the road against Sioux City. So they go 3 home games and then 3 away games. That's going to be interesting. And then week 13 to finish up the season back-to-back against Sioux City, but that one is at home. So that's going to be an interesting end of the season there. Guys, what do we think about this schedule? This one's kind of here, there, everywhere for the Spartans.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that sticks out to me the most is you got the 4 straight home games after the bye week and then 3 straight road games after that. So, I mean, you know, it's going to be one of those things where you just got to look at the end of that season. It could be a rough stretch there for the Spartans, but Coach Shaw, I know him well enough to know he's going to have his team ready for whatever is put in front of them.
Well, I look at the schedule, and there's 2 logos in there I see multiple times. Omaha, Sioux City. And you throw in Columbus in there. This is going to be the first time that Columbus has played Colorado. It's going to be an intriguing matchup. Columbus is a scrappy organization. They traditionally win no matter where they go. We do have some coaches that are going to be on in the second part of the show today that will talk about these rivalries and these teams. But week 6 is pretty late for a home game, but you get 4 straight home games. You find a way to split 1-1 those first 2 road games and find a way to win 4 of your 5 home games. 5 wins may get you in the postseason, depending on how the bracket is. And who doesn't want to go to Mile High? Easy travel to Denver. I'm looking at that week 8 game. Looks a little enticing for a certain event that we might want to do. But hey, I like the schedule. But the Sioux City double tap at the end, that could determine playoff seeding, home and away. That's going to be tough. Thoughts?
I agree. It's definitely something that's intriguing at the end of that. That's definitely, 3 away games and then, you finally get a home game, but it's against your previous opponent. So it's definitely going to try to figure out. And then playoff seeding, like you mentioned, will be on the line at that point. So that's definitely intriguing as well.
Matt?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with everything that Jeff said. I mean, it's never easy to play a team 3 times, as we've talked about with a couple of these schedules, but it's also not easy to play a team in back-to-back weeks. So it's interesting to see how that strategy changes from one week to the next, and especially with the playoffs on the line. It's not something that we see often where at the end of the season, if the team has a chance to make the playoffs or they already know they're in the playoffs, where they sit starters or anything. We don't see that a lot in indoor football, but you never know because we don't know what the playoffs are going to hold this year yet. So
also it would be kind of interesting if Sioux City is actually a matchup in the first round of the playoffs. So you might play Sioux City 3 straight times. That'll be some entertaining stuff to talk about when we get there.
Yeah,
if we get there, if then we get a chance to even that matchup's possible. But we got to continue. We got 3 more teams. And Matt, your favorite team? Well, your second favorite team.
Not really, but that's okay. I like their logo. It's cool. Let's look at the Rougarou schedule for 2025. Week 1, they will be hosting the Amarillo Dusters. Week 2, they're going to be on a bye. Week 3, they will be hosting the Wheeling Miners. Week 4, another bye. Week 5, they make that road trip out to Idaho to take on the Horsemen. Week 6, they have a bye. Week 7, they will be traveling to Amarillo to take on the Dusters. Week 8, they're back home to host the Columbus Lions. Week 9, they will be at Beaumont taking on the Renegades. Week 10, traveling over to Georgia to take on the Columbus Lions. Week 11, the Harrisburg Stampede come to town. Week 12, they will be headed out to Carolina to take on the Cobras. And their final regular season game of the 2025 season, they will be at the Hirsch Coliseum taking on the Beaumont Renegades. My first thoughts on this, guys, we got the season-ending stretch there, 7 straight games there to end the season, if I'm not mistaken, if I did my math correctly. So, interesting stretch of games there for those guys. Love to hear your guys' thoughts.
I think this is a very manageable schedule for the Rougarou. I like their coaching staff so far. I like the roster that they're building there in Shreveport. Home of the old Battle Wings. Do we remember those? The Shreveport Battle Wings back in the day? They have a hockey organization that they love in that city. I fully expect this team to get some fans, and it's Louisiana. They love football. Come on, Waterboy is the best football movie of all time, and that was, in Louisiana. So I expect this mythical beast that is the Rougarou to have a good organization in Shreveport. I like the schedule, very manageable. They avoid the Omaha Beef. They avoid the Sioux City Bandits, and they get Amarillo twice. They get Beaumont twice. But unfortunately, because where they're at, they got to play the Columbus Lions. And they're a scrappy team, scrappy organization. And, they got to play some team up north called the Wheeling Miners. I look at the schedule. It's very manageable. They're sneaky. I think they're going to be sneaky good this year. And that 7-week stretch at the end of the year, they got to find a way to try to get to 500. That's the goal for most of these teams: get to 500, get in the postseason, dance in postseason. But circle that first game against Columbus at home. That could be the determining of what this Rougarou team will be this season. Jeff?
I said it for Amarillo's schedule. I really like that week 1 matchup of seeing 2 new teams, seeing who's going to come out. And then obviously they get the bye. And then a nice test for both teams in week 3 with them, hosting Wheeling. So having 2 back-to-back games, I know they have the bye, but 2 back-to-back home games. And then making the trip out to, Idaho in week 5 and seeing, midway through the season what kind of team they are, and then ending with Beaumont. So that's going to be an interesting game there, ending at home against Beaumont.
Matt?
Yeah, I'm just intrigued by the fact that they have 7 straight games to end the season, and just how is that team going to be able to hold up? Any team, for that matter, be able to hold up with a stretch like that, at that stretch of the season. It'll be interesting to watch and see how that goes for the Rougarou.
Geez. Either someone's trying to bust down my door or the neighbors are freaking knocking down the door or something. Holy crap. Excuse me if you're hearing the banging sound. That is not me. God almighty. I'm doing a show here, people. Yeah, I do apologize if you hear banging sounds. I can't help stop that. This schedule, like I said, it's manageable. A Columbus game, I like. Again, I mentioned how they're going to be sneaky good this year. I like the schedule. If I'm a coach, I can look at here and go, I can win 6 games on the schedule. The question is what game will be the factor that can change it? Or will it be a team at the end of the schedule that ends hopes for Shreveport to get in the postseason? We'll find out. A lot of storylines. Let's see who's next. It's the Harrisburg Stampede. Week 1, the Stampede. We already talked about it. They're traveling to West Banco Arena to take on the Willing Miners. Week 2, traveling to Carolina. Toughies back to back. Week 3, traveling to Columbus. Ouch. That's 3 straight games on the road. Be intriguing. Week 4, bye week. Resting definitely after that road trip. Holy crap. Then they're home against the Willing Miners. Get back in the saddle for the second half of the season. Week 6, the Stampede. Home against Columbus. A little double dose of a home game back to back. Get the fans energized. Week 7. Chilling. Only 2 more road games in the schedule. Let's see what's going on in week 8. Home against the Carolina Cobras. Week 9, the Harrisburg Stampede. What can they do? They're going to chill. They're going to be like, hey, we're good. Like, final stretch, 4 games. Then they're home against Colorado. Lengthy road trip for the Spartans. Come to Harrisburg. That could be the benefit to the Willing Miners. Week 11. They travel to the river. We just talked about that. Of a key game that could determine playoff seeding late in the season. Week 12. The Stampede are on the road to Omaha. In the final week of the season, the Harrisburg Stampede are home against the Carolina Cobras. Can I just say first things first? I know in this sport we have teams that go to different leagues and they get the welcome to the league treatment. I look at this schedule, I go, every one of these games is you got to play your freaking A game.
Mm.
Willing, Carolina, Columbus, and Omaha. You can sell some tickets with this schedule. These are some big time matchups all year. It's a schedule for me. If I want to sell something, this is a schedule I want. I can sell this schedule. I like every game in the schedule. It's challenging, but at the same time, it's the big games you need and the big games you want. Go big or go home is what they say in this sport. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think that my thoughts on this game, on this schedule, are summed up by one comment, and it's this one right here. I think Connor hit the nail on the head there. You open the season with 3 tough road games before you even get to play in front of your home crowd, and then your first home game is against the Wheeling Miners, who are coming off of a undefeated season. Say what you will, obviously it's a rivalry game, that kind of thing, but man, that's an interesting schedule to say the least. And you hate to say anything about Murderers Row, that kind of thing, but man, this you're right, it is going to sell tickets, but it's also going to be a very tough schedule. So interesting to see how Harrisburg handles that opening season 3 games in a row on the road.
Jeff, I would have gave you the honors to do this, but I feel like it'd been kind of not right for a willing guy to announce the schedule for a potential rival.
Yeah, it's all good. But no, I'm with that as well. Like the 3 away games right off the bat, definitely going to be hard, and the places you have to play are just it's not fun. I mean, I'll say it firsthand. I mean, I could be a little biased, but West Bank is rocking. Snake Pit always the same way, and then it is very difficult to play in Columbus. Like that is an arena that has been rocking for years. That's a long-standing team, so that's going to be a tough one, and then you have to see those teams again, but you get them at home in week 5 and week 6. So, and then seeing the Cobras 3 times is definitely going to be a thing. And, that end of the season game, you finish at home playing against Carolina, that could be tough. And then the week 12 matchup, obviously, with seeing the beef on there. So that's definitely something that, it's a tough schedule for them, coming into the league.
It's tough, but we got one more team. And because I took Harrisburg, Jeff, you have the honors of closing out the 2025 schedule reveal with a long reigning franchise in the indoor football community. That is the Columbus Lions.
Columbus coming back to the NAL this season. Excited to see what they have going forward. Just a great team, like we mentioned, long-standing team. Week number 1 for the Columbus Lions will be against two original NAL teams going against each other there at home against the Carolina Cobras. Week 2, bye week, getting it out of the way early there for week 2 for the bye week. Week 3, at home against Harrisburg. It'll be an interesting matchup there. We talked about it on Harrisburg's schedule on the other side as well. Week 4 against Carolina. Very interesting. Going to the Snake Pit, getting them, 3 or twice out of 4 weeks is going to be interesting. Week 5, bye week, much needed after making some travel, and then seeing Harrisburg again. So week 6, you've played 2 different teams. That's it. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting seeing 2 teams there. Week 7, at home against Beaumont. That'll be an interesting matchup. 2 new teams. Well, not 2 new teams, but Shreveport, week 8, at home once again. So 2 home games back to back. Week 9, making the trip all the way out to Denver, playing the Spartans, playing the Colorado Spartans. That'll be nice seeing Coach Shaw out there. That'll be a nice game. And then week 10, the Shreveport Rougarous come to town. That'll be interesting with those 2 just straight across. Make the trip. Seeing Beaumont once again in week 11, this time on the road, going out to Beaumont. And then week 12 for Columbus is a bye. Very nice bye week there for the Columbus Lions towards the end. And then finishing up the season at home against Wheeling. That matchup is definitely one of my most intriguing matchups because we talked about it before with the other teams. That could have playoff implications on the line right there, that final matchup, against Wheeling at home. So that would be a huge get for Columbus. It's definitely going to be a one that they circle.
Matt?
Yeah, obviously the Columbus Lions coming in, another undefeated team. I know everybody in the offseason talked about having the 3 undefeated teams in the league, and everybody wanted to see them all play each other. And unfortunately, we don't get to see Columbus play Omaha this season, but we get to see them play Wheeling. We get to see them play Harrisburg. We get to see them play, the Rougarou. It's an interesting schedule for sure. It's always, unique to see these kinds of things where you've got like the Rougarou and then Colorado and then the Rougarou again, matchups like that where it's just kind of, a couple weeks in between the matchups and things like that. But overall, I think this is going to be an exciting schedule for the Columbus Lions fans, and hopefully, they're coming out ready to play against these guys.
I look at the schedule, I see history between 2 organizations. Carolina and Columbus have history. Playoff games, championship games, comebacks, complete blowouts, down to the wire games. These 2 teams in the NAL before Columbus went to one of their other leagues. I forgot the name of the league they went to. It always felt like Columbus and Carolina met each other in the postseason. That was the determining factor. And the other game was Jacksonville taking on Mass, or Jacksonville taking on Albany was in the other playoff bracket. It was always Columbus and Carolina always met up with each other. And there are some great matchups. Mason Espinoza, Antoine Grant, Jermon Fortson with the Columbus Lions going up against a Coach Rez-led Carolina team that had Jonathan Bain, ZB, James Summers, DJ Myers. The list goes on about that history between this rivalry. So, again, I mentioned Coach Rez. Coach Rez used to coach in Columbus back in the day. I think it's 2013. He might correct me. So, Week 13 might actually have some little history involved when the William Miners traveled to the Columbus Lions. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is your 2025 schedule release for all 11 teams. All the organizations have their graphics up, so do us a favor. Hit the like, hit the share, get the schedule out, go get tickets. Because now that you know the dates, me and the boys down here get to start making some decisions, and we'll make some future announcements here pretty soon for Inside the Walls Network. But until then, coming up next after this short break, Coach Tatum of the Omaha Beef, as we break down or talk about the Omaha Beef's schedule so Matt can gloat with the defending NAL champions. We'll be back right after this.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Throws it in the end zone into the corner. It is caught.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And no further ado, he's in the shade. He's chilling. He is the head coach of the defending NAL champions, the Omaha Beef. Coach, welcome to the show. I know you've been back in the green screen. I do apologize. We had to get all these schedules out. We just can't go talk about Omaha for the whole show. I'd like to one episode, but not this episode. How's everything going there in Omaha? Well, you're currently not in Omaha, but how's everything going?
Uh-oh.
And right when I ask him a question, he probably got a phone call. What happened?
Still muted, yeah.
Something happened. Yeah. It's
So,
crazy.
When-
Hey, a shout out to my guy that's in the comments and all this stuff, Matt Clark, our Omaha Beef insider. You forgot to mention, Jim, in that intro, the coach of the 842 days without having a loss, Omaha Beef. Forgot to mention that. So. I don't know what happened. I know Coach Tatum told me earlier that he was having some issues with his phone, so he may be not able to join us right now. But yeah, definitely, I'm sure he'll be back as soon as he can.
All right. Well, had a good intro for Coach Tatum. So, well, he's coming back. He's there. I see him in the big green screen.
Oh, there he is. Is he in the green room?
He's back.
Oh, he's in the green room. There he is.
Back. Sorry. Somebody called the iPad and the phone rung and it messed it up. I'm sorry.
It's all right, Coach. I made sure that he added 842 days undefeated.
Oh, see, I I try not to think about that. It's just, hey, I mean, but it's just, hey, that's what comes with the territory, I guess. That's what comes with being the Omaha Beef. I mean, they count down days or count up days, till, someone tries it again.
For sure.
Well,
for
speaking
sure.
of counting down the days, the schedule officially out. There's some games in there. You got the traditional matchup with the Sioux City Bandits.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to play some different and new teams, El Moralo and Beaumont. What
Harrisburg.
does the schedule as a and Harrisburg? Yeah, I forgot. God, I remember Harrisburg. You guys, I just think of the old back in the day. Omaha played Harrisburg back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's not real like renewing a rivalry. But coach, you look at the schedule. What pops out to you right off the bat?
I mean, another good season coming up. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, we got Sioux City twice, got Colorado twice. You know what I mean? Played a couple of the other teams, the new teams, new expansion teams, I guess. And then I don't know, get a little taste of Harrisburg, and then Beaumont. You know what I mean? So it'll all be interesting, man. I mean, it's one thing about being Omaha. I mean, you're gonna get everybody's best shot. So everything pops out to me when it goes to looking at the schedule.
Didn't mean to hide you there, Coach, but I had to put up Matt Clark's comment there that every team Super Bowl, everyone has, goes against Omaha. So, Coach, I'm looking forward to that Week 7 matchup with Sioux City. I know Sioux City is looking forward to getting a chance to get revenge against us. A little bit about how you feel about having to wait 7 weeks to play the Bandits again.
Come on, Matt, don't do it to me. I mean, whether it's 7 weeks, 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I mean, we all look forward to that I-29 rivalry. I mean, let's just be honest. Definitely since the championship game ended the way it did, I mean, one team had to win. So, I mean, at this point, I mean, we're just looking for that next time, that next time that we play, that we play each other. I mean, I'm glad it's week 7, you know what I mean? And I heard y'all mention before that luckily it's not back-to-back, you know what I mean? Because back to back, we've seen how easy that turned in. 1 week it was, it was a massacre. Then the next week it was, oh boy, on pins and needles. So, I don't think it matters when it's on the schedule, because it's like Ohio State, Michigan. Since I'm from Columbus, you know what I mean. The records don't matter at that point. Yeah, the records don't matter. So, I don't know. Looking forward to it though.
Well, I know you're currently in Columbus or Ohio.
Yes.
So you're not in Omaha. So what's the vibe like there in Columbus after this past weekend?
I mean, we're still a top 4 or 5 team.
Yeah, see, I have to be a little happy because my alma mater just completely stinks.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of people are making that bigger than it's got to be. It was number 2 and number 3. You know what I mean?
It was a good game. Exciting matchup.
Yeah, you expect games like that. And again, somebody has to win. But when they do, if you are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you are still weaker than we are. So that's what that boils down to. You still are not above us. We're still better than you.
Good.
Yeah.
Jeff, you got a question so we don't keep Tatum, because we got a couple more coaches behind the
No,
scenes.
you're good. Yeah, I got one question. So the week 1 matchup, obviously, that's a very entertaining. How are you going to get the guys up for that? Being on the road, being the defending champs, but happening to play on the road there in week 1.
Who is Beaumont? Is that Texas?
Yeah.
Excuse me if I don't. They will have film on us. We won't have anything on them. Who's their head coach? Help me out with some information here. Who's their head coach?
I don't know yet. I don't think I went through a wire yet.
We're gonna approach the game as any other game. I mean, we'll have a preseason game, and by week 1, we'll be ready to play. I mean, we're not gonna take anybody easy. I mean, because we have to address the elephant in the room. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to lose. So when dealing with games like that, I mean, every game will be tested, and then hopefully we can have the guys as ready as they were last year, and just ready for any challenge and anything that's going to happen when we go to environments.
Well, Coach, appreciate you joining us. Short.
It's all right.
But where can the fans of Omaha get in touch with the organization? Because I guarantee you guys have events coming up. Tickets are on sale. Where do they have to go get all the good merch from you? From the beef?
Got you. Hey, everybody, go follow the Facebook page, the Omaha Beef Facebook page. We also have Instagram. The Omaha Beef. Get your tickets. Get your season tickets. Don't wait till the last minute. We had a whole bunch of sellouts last year. I don't anticipate that it'll be anything less this year. What else did you ask?
Merch. Any events coming?
Merch can also be found on our website, the Omaha Beef webpage. If you can't get it from there, find it from the NAL webpage. Get your merch. Get your orange. Get your black. Ooh, and we got
cowbells.
Get your cowbells. Get your cowbells. We got a lot of special things going this year, man. You don't want to miss out. Don't want to miss out on any of these home games, these big promotions. You guys will see some really, really, really big things coming from the Omaha Beef this year that you haven't seen in the past year. So let's just say we got some really, really, really good gimmicks, really good things coming up that we hope a lot of people can take part in and, just be a part of the championship.
Well, Coach, really appreciate it. Coming up next after this, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have Coach Negron of the Carolina Cobras to break down the Cobras schedule. Coach, appreciate it. Be well.
Yep.
Hope everything's good with you. And we'll see you in March.
Go Beef.
See you, Coach.
All right, man. Go Beef.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along. Well, we flew through Cincinnati and we all got really happy. Grabbed a bowl of that Skyline chili along the way. Then we rolled on into Canton, scared the hell out of Marilyn Manson, and the party started happening. Hey, hey, hey.
And now we got head coach of the Carolina Cobras, Coach Negron. Coach.
What's up, fellas? How are you?
Oh, doing good. Been on the show for an hour and a half, released a schedule, doing some interviews. How's everything vibing in Carolina?
Everything's good. The show's been great. We're excited. I can't wait to get to football, to be honest. The off season is too long. But I appreciate the work that you guys do, and you all do a great job just marketing the league and advocating for us. I appreciate that very much. Even you, Jeff.
I appreciate that.
That sounds a little bit of bitterness right there, Coach. What's going on?
It's all from a good place. I'm getting old. I get more bitter as I get older. It's all good.
He knows.
So let's address the elephant in the room, Coach Negron. How excited are you for the matchups with the Wheeling Miners this year?
Of course I'm excited. I mean, look, that's my mentor. That's how I got into the game. I'm always going to give him respect, even when I don't want to. I think this is a rivalry that the league needs. I think it's good for the league. I think it's good for Carolina. I think it's good for Wheeling. He's going to stop saying that daddy stuff. I don't want him to be my daddy ever. But look, I know he's going to build a good team. His roster is great. He knows I'm going to bring it to. He's just going to be a little bit more respectful. We're going to fix that. When we start playing, and we'll be good to go. But, look, I have a lot of respect for Joshua Resignalo. He's done a lot for this franchise. He's done a lot in his indoor career to warrant a certain level of respect. He's just going to, check that mouth in 2025, and we'll be good to go.
Oh, shots fired. That's how you build up a rivalry right there.
Isn't that what the schedule show is all about? Isn't that what I'm supposed to do?
My job is not to create rivalries. I need teams to create so I can talk about the rivalry.
I get it. I'm right there with you, Jim.
But, Coach, there's some interesting matchups on your schedule, especially an old foe returns to Greensboro. and that's the Columbus Lions, where the NAL and Carolina were the original teams in the NAL back in 2017, 2018. How does it to get that organization, Columbus, back in the league and now having at least 2 matchups to start off in the 2025 season?
I don't discount what they did in another league. People might do that, but I don't. I respect them as a champion and as a team that was one of the originals of the NAL. Richard Maslia and Casey Smith, I know what they're going to bring. I know their coach, Damian Daniels. I know Marcus Brooks. I expect them to be as competitive as anybody else. So I don't discount their addition to the league. I respect it, and I'm excited about it. I think the league has done a really good job of expanding. I want the fans to give us some grace. I've read some of the comments, and I'm not the greatest when it comes to, enduring comments. But, look, we had 5 teams last year. We have 11 teams this year. Be excited about that. Yeah, everybody's got 3 buys, but we have 11 legitimate teams. And that's something, if you're an NAL fan and you're a fan of our game, that you should be excited about. This is only the beginning, right? We've done a great job of expanding and building a schedule that I believe is concrete and that will last through the season. I think that's the biggest thing that I get excited about is the 11 teams that are starting out are going to be here, toward the end of the season when the playoffs start. So if you're a fan, get excited about that. How many years have you watched NAL football and you've watched teams fall out mid-season? I don't think that's going to happen this year, and that's a credit to Todd Walkenhorst. That's credit to the executive and expansion committees. They know what they're doing. So I'm excited about that. Whatever schedule was put out, I was going to get amped for, but I think the credibility of all 11 teams in the league speaks volumes to the direction that the league is going.
Again, there's some good matchups. There's a matchup in this schedule that you took the team out there all the way out in the West Coast, Idaho, and I saw the conversation behind the green screen about the good things about Idaho, which
they got good pizza.
Which is odd to think of that. You think of Idaho, think of pizza.
Idaho Pizza Company. I've told you on this show. You now know what you do with that information is up to you.
Wouldn't expect Idaho to be known for pizza. Potatoes, yes, but
that's the only credit I'm going to give them. I'm going to eat their pizza, and I'm going to beat that football team.
Jeff,
I love you, Chris Reynolds, but that's what I'm doing. So it's all good.
Coach Negron, what's your thoughts on your bye weeks? They're pretty spread out, so I think personally they're pretty good. But what are your thoughts on your bye
I
weeks?
love it. I just think from a grind perspective, you want your rest opportunities to be strategic. The league did a great job of spanning our buys out throughout the season. I lucked out. I'm going to be candid with you. So I love it. It's great. The buys matter, right? The buys are opportunities for the guys to maybe go home, see their families that they haven't seen in a couple weeks. And we got a nice spread out of the buys. So I'm really happy about it. Last year we had a buy, I think it was from May 1st to May 25th when we played Colorado. Granted, that was self-inflicted. We canceled the game, but it is what it is. Nobody wants to be off for 3 weeks in a row, but to have them spread out the way the schedule turned out, really, really great job. Much thanks to the executive committee for doing that for us.
Matt.
Coach, you talked about, how we have 11 teams now, stable franchises, but talk about what it means to have markets like Shreveport and Beaumont back in indoor football and specifically in the National Arena League.
I think it's great, not only for those markets, but great for the league. I think Shreveport's going to kick some ass, man. Just from a market perspective, now I'm talking from a business perspective, they're not going to do anything against us. But, they're going to do great for the market and for the fan base. And I'm excited for that. We'll certainly bring some entertainment for them to get excited about. But, I know that group over there, that ownership group. Patrick Pemmel is a legend in our coaching ranks. My respect for him is well known. if you follow me. If you didn't, now I just told you. So I think they'll do great. And you look at the guys that they signed, they're all in, right? And then you look at a team like Beaumont, Sam Gordon's not messing around, right? Griff Carl's not messing around. These are guys that are all in. So that's exciting. And again, that's when I talk about expansion of the league and stability. It's not just player signings and coach signings, but I have the privilege of being the president of the Cobras, so I'm involved in some of the business stuff, and these guys are just doing it the right way, and that's exciting. It's not easy to do this, man. It's not. The arena game and the indoor game is not for the faint of heart, and for these guys to go all in, do it the right way, sign athletes that'll get their fans excited about what they're bringing to their markets. It speaks volumes to their character as ownership groups. I'm blessed to have an owner that lets me do the same thing. I made a joke to John Kane earlier today. He's my arena Jesus, and that's what you want, right? You want guys that stand behind you and support you. Ricky Burtz is the GOAT when it comes to just building a franchise and supporting franchise. I'm just excited about the direction of the league. I just think about where this league was last year. I think about where the league was 2 years ago. I've been with the Cobras since 2020 on and off. And I just think about where we were in 2020 and where we are going into 2025. Fans should be really, really excited, right? So I see some of the comments, only 5 games, this, that, whatever. Just give it time. Let us build, stand behind it, get excited. I mean, just think about where we didn't have a schedule release show last year. Like, we got a lot of good stuff going on. So that's where my head's at. And then as we get closer to the season, my head will be on making sure these guys, they get lax on their confidence and let Carolina do what we need to do.
Well, Coach, I know you have a lot of motivation, but where can the fans go right now to purchase tickets, get merch, get it connected with the organization?
That's easy, Jim. You should be the Segway captain for the Carolina Cobras, because that's some easy stuff right there. You could text us at 336-455-7232. Just text 2025 to that number, and we can get you season tickets. And we're doing a lot, especially for our returning season ticket holders. Our returning season ticket holders are getting season tickets basically at half of what they spent last season. We want to be loyal. We appreciate what our season ticket holders did for us over the last few years, and so we want to reward them for that. For our new season tickets, season ticket holders, we have 5 games for 4, so we're giving discounts there. My biggest asset is my seats. I'll put my arena up against anybody in the league, so we can tailor your season ticket opportunities however you want it. And, look, Carolina is going to be in it no matter what. Underestimating me and my staff would be a huge mistake. I think I've proven that over the years, and I've added some guys to our coaching staff and some athletes to our roster that I feel really good about. So we're going to be in it. So if you buy these season tickets, you're probably going to get a playoff game too. So you should just do that, and we'll be good to go. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to be humble for the rest of this interaction.
Well, Coach, appreciate it. Come on, because we got still a couple more guys behind the scenes, including the other half of a potential rivalry between Wheeling and Carolina, and coming up later in the episode. So, again, Coach, we can kind of say that. Do you want to make the announcement about what we got planned in the future?
Yeah. I think, look, we love Inside the Walls, and Jim, I talked to you about this. I think what you've done for our league and your support of the league has been nothing short of amazing. We may be transitioning, a show over to Inside the Walls, and I'm excited about that. I think it's long overdue. I will say I'm a little upset with you all. I have the Bills and the Yankees playing on the same night, and you made me do this tonight. You see, I got my Bills shirt on, but it's all good. I'm excited. Again, you guys do an amazing job, and Matt, you do a great job out there in Omaha. You've treated me with such respect over the last year and a half as an opponent. Jeff, the only reason I like he's got a really nice head. But look, I love what you guys are doing in Wheeling, and I'm excited. But overall, look, we're excited about doing more with Inside the Walls. I think the league has made a great decision bonding with you guys, and I appreciate that. And I think 2025 is going to be our best season yet. So you're going to see a lot more of the Cobras on Inside the Walls, and take the schedule, put a lot of W's next to the dates, and get ready. It's Go Time 2.0.
Well, Coach, you can go watch your Yankees and your Bills. I'm a Red Sox Jaguar fan. We're not doing good and won't even make the playoffs. So
I'm going to leave that alone. There's nothing for me to say. Nothing.
But anyways, Coach, appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Again, thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Be good.
Yeah, take shots with the Yankees and Bills. Jeff, I'm just depressed. My professional teams are just not doing good.
Hey, listen, Cleveland's playing the Yankees. I'm excited about that. I let that one go. I didn't say anything there.
Well, coming up next is Coach Shaw of the Colorado Spartans. He is in the green room. He is getting everything situated. He'll join here. Followed Coach Shaw will be Mitch Mccumber of Sioux City. I think I butchered his last name. He'll correct me. And then wrapping it up will be Coach Resignalo of the William Myers, because he wants to go last. Don't know why. Just stay tuned. Coach Shaw, welcome. Welcome back.
How you guys doing, man? It's great to see you.
Is this the fourth time you've been on the show? You've been on a couple times
fourth or fifth time. So I love it.
Coach, the schedule came out, some intriguing matchups. You got 3 against Sioux City this year. Those contests last year got a little testy between you. Are you looking forward to getting that rivalry back going between Sioux City?
Oh yeah, we're definitely excited. Anytime you get to perform against a team that actually played in the championship game, so you know what you got to bring to the table. So we'll be ready. We'll be ready to play.
Also, new venue, going to Denver Coliseum. You're in Denver, traveling a lot easier to get to Denver. People don't realize you can anywhere in the United States, you can get direct flights to Denver. So it's easy to get there. How's the new venue? What you guys got planned to get into community? What's the next step for the Spartans in Denver?
Oh yeah, we're out every day in the community. We're getting love. They're happy that arena football is back in Denver, and the city's excited. And my job is to bring wins. And the schedule is kind of it's hectic. You got to play those 2 teams to start the season. But once again, we're not just here to win regular season games against Idaho out of respect. But we got to win some games. Some big games, and we'll do that.
Matt?
Yeah, Coach, we talked about the 3 matchups with Sioux City, but that final grind there for you guys, that 8-game stretch there at the end of the season, talk about, what, as a coach, how you feel about that, first of all, and then second, what it's going to take to motivate your guys to stay focused and keep their eyes on the goal there.
It's actually one game at a time, man. You just take one game at a time. You don't rush into it. Sioux City, man, that's a great team. So we're looking forward to it. But it's going to come in the week, days in practice. It's going to come, and we'll be ready to perform. I don't have an issue with the schedule, and I'm actually excited about it.
Coach, you got 4 home games in a row. How important is that, opening up a new venue for you guys, playing there and having 4 games in a row to show your fans?
Oh yeah, we just got to win. The fans want to see wins, and actually, we have some of the best fans out here in Denver. They supported us, and it was great. A first season, and those guys came out and they showed out. So I'm excited. Right now we have over 100 VIP tickets sold already. So these guys are excited. And we're going to make some noise in Coliseum this year.
I look at this matchup, and again, Sioux City 3 times. I go, whew. But do you have history with Columbus Lions? Were you with the San Antonio Gunslingers the last year Columbus was in the league?
Yes, we actually had a game against those guys, and if we won that game, we would have made the playoffs. And we actually traveled to Columbus, and we lost that game 70-71. I believe they beat us by 1 point.
Was that Robert Kent as the
Yes.
quarterback, or
Yes.
it was?
Yes, Robert Kent. So it was a great game. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys as well.
See, now I remember that season. You guys start off slow and you caught fire at the end. You just ran out of the games.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, you do have history with Columbus. Now you're getting Columbus in your building later in the year, that 4-game home stretch. It's a little intriguing. I look at this. You can manage this schedule. It's hard about. I don't know how coaches talk about managed schedulings. That's my job to talk about managed schedulings. But again, you got Omaha, Sioux City, and Columbus. You got 2 of the top organizations in all indoor football.
Mm-hmm.
They've been around 20 plus years. As a coach who's been in the sport for a few years, you know these organizations. What is your mindset of bringing that type? Look at those organizations, see what you can bring to Colorado to build up to make Colorado be that next Columbus, Jacksonville, Omaha, Sioux City type organization.
It's real simple. If you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. So that's my goal. We're going to be ready this year. I talk a lot about winning games, and but you got to go out there and you got to go perform and you got to show those wins, and that's what we're going to do this year. So I'll be excited. If I was a fan of Colorado, I'll be excited about this season because we're going to go get wins, and we're going to do great things this year.
Before we let you go, Coach, you getting player signings? Any dogs that you're signing? Because I see you popping the transaction wire. What's the new iteration of the Columbus Colorado Spartans look like so far this offseason?
It's just getting those big nasty guys up front. That's what I want to start it off with. It's hard to find those offensive linemen, defensive linemen that's actually dogs. And I feel like I have some of the best guys on each position, the offense and defense. But my skill players, Steve, he's just an electric player. Then you have Jason throwing him the rock. I have a few DBs that I'm excited about. Jay Tomp on the defensive side. He's a defensive player of the year as a rookie. So we're going to make plays this year. And like I said, it's going to be an exciting year and we'll be ready.
Matt.
No, I don't have anything to follow up with. Just want to share the same sentiment that Matt Clark shares. Lots of respect for you, Coach Shaw. You guys had 2 great games last year against the Omaha Beef, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again this year. Hoping to maybe make that trip out to Denver this season.
Hey, we would love to see you. We'll have a special seat for you.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, any final questions for Coach Shaw?
Yeah, just one. What the very intriguing matchup, that Week 10 matchup on the road against Harrisburg, that's going to be a trip for you guys.
Yeah. It's a trip to gel with your teams. That's where the family comes in at. Taking long trips like that. And I'm good at bringing the team together in situations like that. So that's not an issue. We actually love to travel, and we treat it just like it's a home game. So we'll be all right.
You've had history of long bus trips for traveling to games, and I've heard stories of how teams go on these long bus trips, and after they get done, you can't break them apart. They're like they're brothers for the rest of their lives. You did do a long road trip a couple years ago. That game didn't really show the togetherness, but after that, you beat Albany, and then the second half of the season, I think you guys won 3 of the last 4, if I remember.
Yes,
So
3 out of the last. Mm-hmm.
You got your team together and you made a run. Unfortunately, you missed the playoffs. But, Coach, appreciate you. You're in Denver. I know the weather has to be changing already in Denver.
Oh, yeah. It's getting chilly out this way. So I got my hoodies and I'm ready to go.
Well, Coach, where can the fans follow, get a hold of you? What do they need to do to be a part of the Colorado Spartans in Denver?
So it's Facebook, Instagram. Go check us out, Colorado Spartans. We'll have a tryout coming soon, November the 16th. So be looking forward to that. It's going to be great things happening in Denver this year. So thanks, guys, for having me on, man. I'm excited.
Coach, appreciate it. When we come back after this, we'll go to Sioux City with the host of the Bandit Booth Review podcast. And we'll talk about the Sioux City Bandits schedule. And this is Inside the Walls Network.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along. Well, we blew through Cincinnati and we all got really happy. Grabbed a bowl of that Skyline chili along the way. Then we rolled on into Canton, scared the hell out of Marilyn Manson, and the party started happening. Hey, hey, hey.
All right, Mitch. I know I butchered her last name.
Hey, it happens, man. It happens.
Schedule came out.
I'm excited. I think, looking at it, the first away game is technically in week 6. So that's a little different. And then, having the buys at the beginning of the season is not ideal, but you just talked to Coach Shaw and they have the same kind of setup of bye weeks as we do.
Mm-hmm.
So just tackling that as it goes. Obviously, the 2 matchups with Omaha are going to be very important. And ending out the year back-to-back against Colorado will be huge as well. I'm excited. We talked to Jeff earlier. Excited to get able to go out to Wheeling, so that'll be cool. And then trips to Idaho. So we're kind of jam-packed with travel as everyone is in the league. So, but excited for the challenge. And, man, I wish the season started tomorrow. I really do.
No, you don't. That's a lot of work to get ready for a game tomorrow.
We're ready. Trust me, we're ready. That 1-point loss against Omaha, we were ready the day after.
Well, yeah, for the football game, but I'm thinking of logistics. I'm thinking of behind the scenes stuff. That's
right. Yeah, probably Brett and the rest of the crew probably aren't ready to start right away. They're itching at the bit just like we are. But yeah, just to get everything behind the scenes, we'll probably need a little bit of time.
Again, yeah. Matt, I know you want to get talking about I-29. I think.
Yeah.
Am I right?
So yeah, I asked Coach Tatum earlier, so I'm gonna ask you, Mitch. We have to wait 7 weeks for the renewal of the I-29 rivalry and the rematch from the National Arena League Championship game for 2024. And I know how you guys feel about it. I know that Coach Loban, Coach Irv, it's still in their craw. They still want to get that revenge. But how do you feel about having to wait 7 weeks to take on the Omaha Beef?
And kind of like Coach Tatum said, it didn't matter if it was week 1 or Jim said week 17. It doesn't matter what week it is. We're going to be ready for the challenge, and we're going to have our guys ready. It's a big rivalry game, and I think we get, if I remember right, we get Omaha on the road to start.
I butchered that.
Yeah. So Omaha on the road. I kind of want to get that game out of the way to start. I'd rather, if we happen to lose in Omaha, I want to get revenge at home. But we're going to be ready for it, man. I mean, we know every team, not just Omaha, is going to have a heck of a roster. Been watching on the transactions, and every team is loaded this year in the NAL, all 11 teams. So going to be excited. But, we as long as we can score 1 more point than Omaha, that's all I care about.
Jeff?
What's your thoughts on the back-to-back to end the season? That's huge there at the end of the season.
So and Coach Shaw and his group gave us some dogfights, last year. So definitely excited for that. I'm excited to go out to Denver. I'm a huge Denver fan of all professional teams. So to go out there is going to be really cool. But the back-to-back is so weird, and just how you prepare, you literally go back and watch game film, and then normally you flip over to the film that was provided for the other team. Now you're doing it exactly the same thing over again. You're seeing that same thing. So, do you throw a wrinkle in the offense here? Sioux City's pretty 50-50. We like to run to set up the pass and pass to set up the run. A lot of these arena teams just pass the ball and air it out. Do we throw a wrinkle in the second to last week that we aren't going to show in the final week? I don't know. That kind of just depends on where we're sitting at in the season and how we want to prepare. But, seeing them at the beginning of the season and then having to wait all the way to the end of the season to play them twice again, it is different. But I trust the way that the league set up the schedule, and, coaches speak, we're going to have to take every game at a time. So, but I'm excited.
I know we didn't really mention this in the first part when we were releasing the schedule, but we do have a very intriguing quarterback clash that I'm very intrigued to look at, and that's when Merlon Reed takes on Grant Russell of Willing. Two guys who have been around the block in the sport. Those are top tier quarterbacks in the sport right now. I know we have Taz in Omaha. That matchup right there. You're going twice in Willing and in Sioux City. What do you think about that matchup probably happening? What do you think?
Well, and I think there's a lot of quarterbacks in the league that are really good. Carolina signed I think one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but I think you look at it in the matchup, and it's going to be different for us to go on the road to Wheeling. It's a farther road trip for us. We're going to have more than likely have to fly, and just do different what we did in some of the road games that we did last year. We can't start off flat. Guys have to be brought in together, because every road game that you do in this league is going to be very difficult. Wheeling has a good home crowd. I'm excited to go and see down in Baymont, how them out in Idaho. We have good fan bases that we're traveling to, so it's not like we're going to go into some stagnant environment. We're going to go into a dogfight, obviously down I-29. We're going to go into the cowbells. Just having guys prepared and ready to go. And I think, it's almost a blessing in disguise having those buys early in the season, because guys can gel. Obviously, we want to get games under our belt, but getting guys to gel in the season, having time off to kind of rest your bodies after the first point of contact is big. And then we're just going to have to play it out after, our third bye week to make sure guys stay healthy throughout the season. That's just going to be the biggest challenge for us with having, those games backloaded on our schedule, and especially all of our travel backloaded on our schedule too. Just making sure guys are healthy and ready to go, and, so that we can play past the regular season. We want to play 3 more games after the regular season. So.
Well, we do have a question from the fans. Matt Clark, outside of Omaha, who do you see in this league as the biggest threat to Sioux City's path to the title?
Well, I think you look at 2 teams that joined the league that won. Columbus is going to be tough. Wheeling just won. They're going to be tough. We don't play Carolina this year. They were a dogfight with us both games. We were the victor at home. They were the victor on the road. And then you can't sleep on teams that have records with you. I think Colorado's going to be tough to open the season. But I think the biggest game, honest for me, I guess, would be the Wheeling atmosphere, because Jeff talked it up. I want to see if the hype is real. I want to see the drum line. So I'd say Wheeling, but we're not going to take any game lightly. I can guarantee you that.
Matt, you're good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited for the season to start, and yeah, definitely.
But Mitch, we can't let you out without a little plug.
Right. So we have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Facebook, obviously, the main point of contact for a lot of people. You can go to www.gobandits.fun for all merchandise, and then go through the Tyson Event Center for tickets. A lot of promotions, different things going on. We always have our military appreciation night, and our ag night that we're doing for the 2nd year in a row. So make sure you're looking for that. Brett does a really good job of plugging everything social media wise, almost months in advance. So if you don't know, you're living under a rock. So it'll be a good season though. I think tickets are already on sale. So if you're in the Sioux City area and have nothing to do on a Saturday, we hope to see you at the Tyson Event Center.
Well, Mitch, I think you guys I hear that you guys doing podcasts, and where can they find that?
So Jonah and I are doing the Bandits Booth Review podcast, and actually we're going to have it on this StreamYard platform as well. You guys kind of brought us under your wing. We appreciate you for that. And then also just on Apple and Spotify as well, just for the vocals. I know I don't really have a face for this type of thing.
I don't have a face either.
So if you don't want to look at me or Jonah, we totally understand. Just go and listen to us in your meantime on any podcast or podcast platform.
Hey, Mitch, there's 127 people watching you right now.
It makes me nervous, man. I'm a behind the scenes guy. I don't ever show my face. So
Yeah. So if you're again, you can follow him at Bandit Boot. Are you guys on Twitter yet? Did Jonah get that going?
Jonah started up a Twitter. I don't know how many followers we have. Probably like just a couple like parents and in close family, but we do have a Twitter, and then everything will be shared through the Bandits Facebook page as well, so you can find it on there.
And it would be streaming live on Inside the Walls Network throughout the season as well.
We're excited. We're excited.
Well, Mitch, you're in Sioux City. I know you got it all down packed. Jonah, I guarantee, is either texting everybody in the chat right now. And today, ask Jim, ask this question. But appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
Honestly, the next guy we have on next, he wanted to be like this. He is the main event. So, okay. So, Mitch, appreciate it. And
thank you guys.
See you next week. Next show next week.
Next week. Whenever you want me on, man, I'll be there.
Well, you got the schedule that came out. You guys have to be talking about your schedule next show, right?
Yeah. Well, and then we're also doing a all-time Bandits team too. So we'll put that in with the podcast. So it should be fun. Should be a jam-packed episode for sure.
Whatever you do not get a guy from another opposing team, especially a rival, to trying to do the team for you.
Right. I don't know why we would do that.
Well, again, Mitch, appreciate it. Be well. We'll talk soon, and hopefully everything's groovy in your neck of the woods.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Go Bandits.
Put your fingers down. This is not your show. You started off with Coach Tatum. Now it's time for me and Jeff. The main event of the evening. Watch what you say around this dude, because he will throw you a stray. You'll be getting coffees at Dunkin' Donuts, and you'll get hit by a stray. He's a legend. Borderline GOAT. Getting it close to it. His social media game is goatish. No other than Willie Myers head coach. I moved me. What the heck? There we go.
There he is.
Resignalo. Jesus, I kicked myself out of my own damn stream. What the heck's going on? Coach, what's going on?
What's up, fellas?
I know you've been waiting in the green screen for an hour, it seems like, but Coach, schedule's out. Big game week 1 against Berg. It was either them or Carolina. We had that feeling.
Yeah.
But you get the border war right off the bat. And you basically finished with them before week 5. So the schedule, how do you think the schedule fit for you guys?
I think it's it's set up pretty good for us. I like the home games, that we had a couple of home games on the back end. That's pretty good for us. Especially going in right there at that last little run before going into the postseason. Our bye weeks up on the the front half, so we kind of got a similar schedule like Colorado, where we got that long stretch of games there at the end. But I'd rather get the bye weeks out of the way. I know the players would rather get the bye weeks out of the way. Last 5 games going into the postseason. The players don't really like a lot of bye weeks close, especially early. I noticed a couple teams with bye weeks like right out the gate. That's kind of tough. So they'll probably adjust their schedules a little bit to where like players reporting and that kind of stuff, where they're not hanging out for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or 5 weeks before they play their first game. So overall, I'm glad to have Carolina on there a couple times, especially Harrisburg, with us being so close. We've already talked about with Harrisburg there in Carolina about doing fan buses, two and back and forth. So we're looking forward to that, both ways, on the business side from a marketing standpoint. A lot of cool things we can do with that. I've just been enjoying the show so far up to the point, and ate some popcorn, hanging out. So, I'm excited of what we got going on with the season and all the teams involved. No particular reason why I wanted to go last. I just wanted to have some extra time to chill.
No, because you're the main event.
But it's been good. It's been good. It was been good to see a couple of the other coaches come on board, on the show. Enjoy that. So see here in Carolina coming on, having a show coming up, with the network's gonna be pretty cool, and I'm sure a couple other teams will be right in line with that. So I could probably imagine that all 11 teams at some point will have a coaches show within the network, which is pretty cool. With what we want to do with the NAL game day stuff, and it's just a lot of it's just exciting, to have that kind of stuff involved with what we got going on.
Well, I can confirm this. I'll be up there in Wheeling week 1 for Berg. I'll be there. Guaranteed. Lock it down. I'm there. Nothing's going to change.
Nice. We'll set it up good and make it a big deal. Kick it off for the season. So, and it's Monday Night Football too, so you can't beat that.
I forget it's Monday. Yeah.
Yeah. March for us was pretty tough with dates in the arena. So, we have an ECHL hockey team, the Wheeling Nailers. They're actually playing in a different division this year. So a lot of excitement with what they got going on. You got that big MEC basketball tournament, which is a college Division II conference. They have a big weekly their conference tournament there during that time, and PBR is a huge event, and that's all like right on top of each other. So not favorable for us to play on a Monday night, but luckily we're in a football town. So Monday Night Football is part of the norm for them with their Steelers and Browns, and the Bengals there all in that area. So those football fans are used to Monday Night Football, and especially would be our banner drop night, and so it'll be a lot of cool stuff. So it'll be a pretty good turnout. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, also you forgot about the backyard brawl.
Yeah, with we're coming up with something like that with Harrisburg. We're wrestling around with a few things with that, and those would be some pretty good games. I used to coach in Harrisburg. Probably 13 years ago. So it's been a while. But to be able to go back there and would be pretty cool. I still have quite a few people that I know out that way, and my pops is right down the road from there, so he'll be able to come on out to that, which he's on there. I just seen him making some comments, but yeah, and in Carolina, obviously that's going to be a big one to go back there after. That's the longest. That's the longest place that I have been at for a while, for four seasons. So pretty exciting to be able to go back to that. Starting out there as the DC in 2019. 3 seasons because COVID didn't count, but you get the point. But to be able to go back there and whatnot is I'm looking forward to that. A lot of great fans there. I live an hour from Greensboro, so got a lot of family and friends that'll be at that game as well, and still got some Cobras fans. So we were joking about bringing some House Divided shirts and stuff like that. So that'll be pretty cool. See what else? Hell, Columbus. Coached in Columbus, was the DC there in 2013. So be able to go back there again. We had a couple games back and forth when I was with Carolina. That's always a good matchup with Columbus. So looking forward to that. A lot of great places. And looking forward to, every team that we play on our roster, or our schedule. So got a pretty tough one. Sioux City are going to be 2 big games for us. We wanted to be in a bigger and better league, and we got it. So, with Sioux City, they got a great quarterback, great coaching staff, great history. When they come play us in West Banco, they actually play the Greyhounds in West Banco. So that'll be some nostalgia, I guess you could say, and be pretty cool to kind of see that and be a part of that. We'll probably do some things of a Greyhound night or something, just to make it a big memory time for that, and a lot of cool things that we can do with everything we got going on in the league. So we're looking forward to it.
Coach, we see on your schedule that you've got 2 matchups with one half of the people that were in the teams that were in the National Arena League Championship game last season. Mm-hmm. So your thoughts on the fact that unfortunately we weren't able to get Omaha versus Wheeling this year, as a lot of us were hoping to have?
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I was excited. I had my fingers crossed that we could play in week 1. If you play any team like that, you want to play them early and get it out of the way and have that chance to be the team to knock them off first. Everyone's going to be looking at that. Coach Tatum mentioned, whenever someone's going to play Omaha, it's about playing Omaha, giving their best and all that. And I think it's going to be like that with every game. There isn't a whole lot of fall off from team to team, I guess you can say. I've gave my preseason rankings a couple times, and and that's neither here nor there. People could take it for what they want. That's just my opinion. But when you look at the coaches and you look at the staffs and you look at what all the teams are doing, it's everyone's putting in the best effort forward to put the best product on the field. And really, at the end of the day, anyone can win, and that's when you create that kind of competition. That's what we want. That's what we all want. That's what we all want to be a part of, and that just makes the league better as a whole.
Jeff, your honors.
So, Coach, let's talk about that first away game. Going to Louisiana. It'll be a little bit of trip for us.
Yeah, not too bad. I've made a trip down to Louisiana. It was pretty far. Played in Lake Charles when I was in Columbus. So that was a haul for sure. Looking at some travel stuff. I know travel into there is not the best. The airport there isn't like the most popular airport, I guess you could say. Is not a big one. So have to look at all the travel arrangements and logistics and all that. But the facility itself is going to be pretty awesome. I know Keith and them down there, are doing a great job, building that organization, and they're going to be packed. It's going to be a great crowd, great atmosphere. They're going to be a tough team. They're doing a great job with what they got going on. So for our first road trip, like Coach Shaw, spoke a little bit about long trips. Those are your times for bonding. Those are your times to really gel together as a team, as a family. That's a big thing for us in Wheeling. We that's what we strive to build, and we got quite a few guys coming back from last year, so we got a leg up on some of the teams. Yeah, we're new, but we're familiar with each other, so it's we're looking forward to camp.
Well, Coach, I know we could talk for hours, but we also have a show to do on Wednesday night, so let's save some information for Through the Wire this Wednesday night.
But, Wednesday night we'll break down the whole schedule. We'll go through it all and answer any questions about anything. We'll dive deep into some of the history of the teams and what we're looking forward to the most. So,
and of course, I know I've been asking all the coaches so far, where can they find up-to-date information, ticket information, merch? Where do they need to go to?
Yeah, so we got all of our social media stuff. Jeff can kind of touch on that a little bit, but gowvminers.com is our website. Of course, you got the Facebook page, but we got Twitter and all that stuff. So.
Yep.
Jeff,
Twitter, Instagram,
Tiki-Taki,
Facebook, TikTok. We got it all. We're everywhere. Any social media we can hit, we hit. We try to get out there and just appreciate the fans for following us and liking on a lot of our stuff. So,
Coach, appreciate it. If you want to stay in the green room, you can stay in the green room, but we've been on for 2 hours, and I've been notified by Facebook that I set a record, maybe for the stream. But right now, there's still 113 people watching.
Nice.
Respect.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Jeff,
good stuff.
Matt, Coach, been good. We're good, Matt? We good?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for being on, Coach.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all.
Coach Reg, appreciate it. We'll talk Wednesday, Through the Wire, Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. Am I correct? Or we moved that to 8?
9-ish.
Yeah, a tradition like no other, 9-ish, yes.
Tradition continues.
Well, Coach, really appreciate it. By the way, I saw that your guys got a rebound win this week in your high school team.
Yeah, big one. Yeah, we're two wins since our loss, so we're 7-1 right now. So we had a 65-0 and then a 55-6. So we got a big one this week. So it's to try to keep it rolling, keep everyone healthy going into the postseason.
Hey, good football coaches know how to win no matter what level they're in.
Absolutely.
Won championship in indoor last year. You're 7-1 right now. That's knocking on the door of a playoff berth.
Yep.
life is good in the Resignalo household right now, from football wise.
Yeah, we're enjoying it. Little man's playing, so he's about to finish up here a couple weeks. So we're full blown everything, man. We're wide open.
Well, Coach, have a good rest of your night. Me and the boys are going to wrap up this epic 2-hour show of the schedule reveal. Again, we'll be back Thursday night too there, folks. But, Coach, appreciate it joining. We'll talk on Wednesday, Through the Wire, 9 o'clock here on Inside the Walls Network.
Appreciate it. Thanks for all y'all do.
Whew.
What an episode.
What an episode, man. I'm tired.
Right.
As I was saying during the bye weeks, we're just chilling.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. Wow. So what were the big news drops today on the episode? If you're joining now, schedules released. Go to your organizations. Question is do you want Inside the Wall as opposed to the graphics that we had on the screen for your enjoyment? That would be on our social media platforms, including InWallsNet.com, the website for InWalls Network. As you heard earlier in the episode, Coach Negron and the Carolina Cobras have agreed to do a coaches show on Inside the Walls Network. I will help to launch the episode, but they will bring their partner to do the hosting privileges. So the Carolina Cobras coaches show will be heading to Inside the Walls Network. The name of the show will be announced at a later date because we're getting close to football. We got things going. Inside the Walls Network is bumping. Again, gents, we have to say it. Thank you to the National Arena League, Todd Walkenhorst, Ricky Burtz, Coach Resignalo, Coach Shaw, Coach Negron, Mike Tatum, and everyone who's been on this podcast over the year. Appreciate it. Much love and respect. To the highest viewed show, we had up to almost 200 viewers at one point tonight. Thank you. Appreciate it. And again, can't do it without my two partners of crime. Matt, I'm proud of you, my friend.
Yeah, I'm proud to be a part of this network. I'm proud to be a part of this event. I've never done anything like this before, and this was amazing. It was incredible. I can't thank Todd Walkenhorst, National Arena League, Ricky Burtz, and everybody else enough for this opportunity. It's been awesome. And be on the lookout for the announcement for the start of season 3 of the Prime Cuts of Omaha Beef Podcast.
Oh, that's coming back too?
Right here on the Inside the Walls Network.
We'll be popping. A lot of content. Jeez. Jeff, what's going on in Wheeling? I know we got the coaches show, but I know you guys, top-notch broadcasting crew. What's coming next for Wheeling?
Hey, we're excited to get the season started. I got a lot of work to do with this 2-hour show to cut up some clips to get out on the old tiki-talkie, as you like to call it. But no, I just excited for it, and definitely, looking forward to the different things we can do with the league as far as, streaming and everything. I'm really excited about that. Excited for, instant replay for this year, getting all the angles, being able to break stuff down as it happens and things going on like that. So that's really going to be really cool. And, the fan trips, really excited for the schedule of a lot of teams that are closer, that the fan bases can go check these games out. Travel is not going to be an issue here in the National Arena League for this year. So definitely excited to see some of those games that have the full-blown fans of each side at those games. That's definitely going to be exciting.
Matt, any final words there, my friend?
No, man, 2025, the season's going to be awesome. Can't wait for it to get here. And next thing we know, we're going to be getting ready for some games to start. I can't wait.
Well, long episode. I need a prescription of something because I'm tired. Got to get a lot of things going. But with that, no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, to cap off the episode, again, appreciate much love and respect. That's Matt and that's Jeff. And what do I need to prescribe myself to get out of this episode?
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.